here from the locker room in 680 The Fan, former Atlanta Falcon, 11 years with the Birds, the Dirty Birds, played wide receiver, special teams. Did play a little defense on Hail Mary situations, blocked a field goal years ago, done a little bit of everything. But what are you going to do? So I think I like to think I know a little bit about the game of football and what our Falcons need in general. Obviously, we've been one of the worst pass rushing teams in the history of football the last, feels like, umpteen years. So first and foremost, I think we need to address that, the defensive end position. If the right guy is sitting there, which I think he will be, even moving back is an option. We'll go through the process here of working with the Pro Football Focus mock draft simulator. It'll go quick early, get to 15, and we'll have a decision to make on what we want to do. Do I want to trade out of there and back up a little bit to get some more picks? Because the Falcons only have 5 picks this year, a first, a second, a fourth, and 2 seventh. 2 seventh-round picks on top of that. So some of the needs, I mentioned edge rusher. Center is a big question mark because you got Ryan Newsel, who's filling in for the guy we just lost, whose name is Drew Dahlman, who went up to Chicago. Thank you very much. So Drew Dahlman is in Chicago. Ryan Newsel filled in a little bit last year, but it's an interesting kind of dynamic there. We'll see if he wants to be that guy or if we need to pick up a center at some point in the second or fourth rounds. Safety and cornerback and defensive tackle are the spots that I would look at as we round out our draft and the 5 picks that we have. All right, are we ready to rock and roll? Let's see what we do. We'll start the mock draft. It'll go by quick. We've got a little fast speed. Tennessee's on the clock, and I'll rip through theirs. The draft will start, and we'll get to 15 fairly quickly. We'll go through some of the names briefly if we need to, but let's go ahead and get this thing rocking and rolling. And you can see Jalen Walker off the board, Tyler Warren, Will Johnson, and we are at the Falcons pick. Guys still left on the board, Walter Nolan, who we've talked about inside the locker room. There's a cornerback there, Jada Barron, Malachi Starks, 3-down player out of Georgia who can play safety, come down in the box and hit you in the face as well. A guy a lot of us like when you talk about production is Mike Green, defensive end out of Marshall, but what kind of competition did he play against is a big question for him. Let's see who else we have. Edge rusher is probably where I want to focus. Let's check our trade possibilities if we could. There's a bunch up there. Tampa Bay wants to get in the mix and talk to us. They pick next at 19. What would that get us back in return? Does that show us somewhere in there? Boys, if you click on that, is this, if you click, do you have to accept it or? So 1953, those are the picks they have. What are they willing to give us? Do you have to click offer trade? Let's see it. Let's see what it looks like if we can. Okay, just 19. Well, they can haul ass with that pick and move on. So we're not just going to switch picks. We're going to get something in return. All right, so let's pretend we don't like any of the trades we got. We're not going to move back. We got our guy on the board. Can you show me who's gone off right before us real quickly, if you don't mind? There you go. Thank you. So we got a couple tight ends off the board early. Jalen Walker, who we thought would be gone. Nobody up here really bothers us. I don't want to see anybody on the offensive side of the ball even thought about for our Atlanta Falcons. Mason Graham goes early. Keep coming down. Tyler Warren. Michael Williams was a guy we talked about inside the locker room this week, getting ready for the draft ourselves. So, geez, it looks like we have most of our defensive ends available. You're talking about Mike Green, Shamar Stewart, James Pierce Jr., and the kid out of Boston College who had a productive season. I'm not even sure how to pronounce his last name, and we're not going to try. So put up all the defensive edge rushers there for me because that's where we're going. There he is right there, 17th overall. Donovan Ezeraku, Boston College, had a really good season up there with BC. A little bit undersized height-wise. My real true feeling right now is Mike Green or James Pierce Jr. I want big, couple off-field issues, a little angry at the world, something to prove. James Pierce is a big son of a gun. You're talking about a kid that's, I think, 6'5.5", if I'm not mistaken, 245 pounds. I think 7.5 sacks last year, if I'm not mistaken. Now, quick, twitchy son of a gun. There was some concerns about, like, backside of plays, finishing the drill, full speed all the time. But you can teach that to these guys. You can let them know and understand their livelihood's on the line, and you can do that. And the other guy we're considering is Mike Green. Let's take a quick peek at Mike Green and what it looks like for him. Really good football player, 17.5 sacks, great size, 6'4", 250. A little bit raw. I think he went from Virginia to Marshall, had a few issues he dealt with off the field at Virginia, got his mind right and got his stuff right on the football field with 17.5 sacks. All right. Now, we've done this before. We've gone kind of non-SEC, non-ACC, non-Big Ten type football players. We're not going to do it this time. I'm going James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. We're going to get his mind right. We're going to take some of that anger he's got and mold it into his helmet and send him right at the quarterback. So we will take James Pierce Jr. with the 15th pick overall. And this will go a little bit faster as we move forward. Falcons pick in the second round at number 46 as you see it coming up. So we have addressed the defensive end position. Now this is interesting. And if you can just give me a couple little insight of who just went a little bit before us, JB, I appreciate it. There you go. Walter Nolan is a big defensive inside interior guy we talked about earlier. Did we miss the other interior dude? God, I didn't even write his name down. Who did we talk about today? Kenneth Grant. Is he off the board? He is at number 24. Big son of a gun in Michigan. All right, with the guys I'm staring at here still left on the board, Kevin Winston was a guy that jumped out at me today. Penn State, really good defense. We need a safety in the worst way. 6'1.5", 215 pounds, productive football player. Let's see what he did a little bit. Banged up every once in a while. Had a good season the previous year. So it scares me a little bit that he has some time off, but he's a highly thought after safety, and it's a position player that the Falcons really, really do need. Take me back one more time, JB, because it looks like Kevin Winston Jr. may be our guy. But let me take a quick look at who's close to on the board right here. I'm just not going offense yet. Nope, and nope. So I think we'll roll the dice on a guy who was a little banged up last year, but showed some signs of really, really being a super football player, can play 3 downs. Put him next to Jesse Bates on the football field. We will take Kevin Winston Jr., safety, out of Penn State. So we draft defensive end and safety. Now we got kind of some options here because we skipped the 3rd round. We don't have a pick in the 3rd. We'll move on from that one. We'll get to the 4th round as it continues to trickle through here. And you talk about needs for our Falcons. We've addressed edge rusher. We've addressed safety. Now we got a pick in the 4th round coming up. We still have center we need to think about, cornerback, and again, a big fatty at the defensive tackle position would be nice because we really are light in the ass when it comes to the defensive line. And I don't mind going all defense this entire draft. They've got enough skilled position players the last 4 straight years the Falcons have when you talk about Bijan and Kyle Pitts and Drake London and then the screwball they threw at us last year with Michael Penix Jr. So we're done with offensive skill position players. If anything, we'll look at center. As you can see here, they still think we need some edge rushers and a linebacker. Let's take a quick look. And I don't know if you can chime in here, JB, if you want, because this is the point in the draft where B-Fin checks out and lets the guys at scout and watch a lot of film and do their thing. But if we're thinking about team needs, cornerback and a big fatty in the defensive tackle position, or you take a flyer on an offensive center position you want to look at. So interior offensive line. Dylan Fairchild out of Georgia is still sitting there looking at you. Cornerback is probably the position we want to focus on, I would say. Oh, man. Kobe Bryant has been mentioned for the Falcons as well. Let's get away from the center. I'm not feeling it right now. I think we stay all defense, and we focus on cornerback or defensive tackle. Throw up some big, fat defensive tackles up there for me, JB, and let's see if anybody jumps off the board at us. Is there a value pick? We're at pick 118. I mean, these guys, when you start picking for needs, you start looking at guys that you may be overvalued, so you take them too high. So we may want to wait to get going and see what happens there. Cornerback, and defensive inside rusher. Who the hell is J.J. Pegues? What the? Is that right? So an athlete. Let's see what kind of size he's got. Talk to me real quick. Click on his name, and let's see what kind of numbers. 6'2", 325. Versatile. Good word from them. 4-star tight end coming out of Oxford, Mississippi. Chose to play at Auburn over his hometown school of Ole Miss. Spent a year there as a tight end with the Tigers. That tells me he's a giant athlete and has grown into this big old fatty 6'2", 325. Boy, oh boy, this excites me about what he's capable of. I love having guys that can do more than one thing on the football field, and it sounds like he may be that guy. 7 touchdowns as an offensive football player. That is pretty cool. One of those little intriguing things they'll click up on the big board when you see him on ESPN the next couple nights coming up. So let's move on to the cornerback position, but let's keep J.J. Pegues on the board. Anybody we like here? Kansas State and Kansas. I've heard Kobe Bryant's name. Click on him a little bit. He's a guy that is 6'1", 175, a little light in the ass if you ask me. I like the height, but if he can make plays and he can move around, he needs to put some weight on. But you can do that in the NFL. Has a mentality to win at the position. The fact that he's 6'1", I love. Ball skills are probably really good. Attitude you want from a defensive back. All right, if we come down to it, can we get in the war room right here with JB as Kyle Smith as my assistant GM and Andrew as our guy that can kind of help out as one of the scouts. We're between JJ Pegues and Kobe Bryant. Do we have a vote either way? Pegues from my scout in the back and Kobe over here. I don't like the way you're laughing about Pegues. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Just for namesake and athleticism alone, let's take the cornerback out of Kansas and add to another draft need and tackle the cornerback position. All right. We'll draft cornerback. So we've addressed defensive end. We've addressed safety with the kid out of Penn State, Kevin Winston Jr. And now we've gone after cornerback. And we'll move forward to the 7th round. This is where the Falcons are in a tough spot. You have to try to draft back out of that 15th pick overall if you have the opportunity. Get some more picks so you can play with them a little bit and get back into the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, even 5th rounds where you can find some football players. All right, we got the 218th pick and 242nd pick. You don't expect those guys to be super ball players. Jace McClellan last year, was he a 7th rounder? Running back out of Alabama, played some special teams for us. He'll be a guy that will be a backup running back and a special teamer for most of his career. Maybe he shows some signs of life and can do some special things as he grows into an NFL football player, and we'll see what happens there. All right, the Atlanta Falcons back on the clock. Wide receiver is a need, center is a need. You can still add to your depth at the end position. I like Braylon Trice and what he's capable of before he got hurt last year. Brandon Dorless, Ruka Ro. Anya Modest on this roster, guy that has played solid. So we got a decision to make. Do we want to add to the wide receiver room? Do we want to try to find a backup center that can make some sense? Give me a little Jake Majors. I like the name. I like the school. I like the coaching he got. I love the run game he was a part of. 3,700 career snaps under his belt. Experienced player. Boy, oh boy. It'd be 6'3", 315, athletic, big son of a gun. I think we got to take Jake Majors, solidify the backup center position, give him a chance to be competitive with Ryan Newsel, and make that happen. Let's go and take the center off the board in the 7th round out of Texas, Jake Majors. We'll draft him. We'll be back on the board in just a second. And then with our final pick at 242, the Atlanta Falcons really can do whatever the hell you want. Do you really like a receiver at this position? I'm going to lean on Drew and JB on this one and see if there's somebody we see in these value picks still ranked fairly high, ranked around where they're supposed to be, that we like. Is there Ricky White, wide receiver out of UNLV? Is tight end a spot we need to think about long term because Kyle Pitts most likely not going to be here after this season? Talk to me about guys you think might be a fit for us in the 7th round as you see sitting there on the board right now.
In the 7th round, I like the versatility guys.
Yep, versatility guys that can play special teams, do multiple things. Why would I hate anything you say? Talk to me. Oh my God, I do hate that. I'm not doing quarterback. I can't do it. We got Easton Stick just got in here. We just signed him as a backup. Why do I want to say Milrow? Who's our backup to the backup? Who's our third string we just got? It's not Milrow. It's another guy we just picked up not that long ago. Black quarterback. I think he played it. Why do I think he played at Bama? What the hell's wrong with me? So you got Michael Penix Jr. You got Easton Stick we just picked up from the LA Chargers. We got Kirk Cousins sitting there who's going to try to get his way out of here, which is fine with me. We draft capital next year. We'll get 10 or 15 million taken off our Emory Jones. Thank you very much. Where did he go to school? Florida. Yeah. Yeah, so Emory Jones was the guy I was thinking about. We're not going quarterback, so you can get rid of that. Get quarterback off this screen immediately. No, do receiver. Yeah, there you go. Receiver, tight end, and do that. Do those two real quick and see what we're left with. Luke Lachey. Click on him for me real quick. Let's see what first look looks like and what kind of size we're talking about. You ain't kidding. 6'6", 250. I mean, I think you really got to think about moving forward and what you got. What we saw Charlie Warner do last year, motion across the formation. He literally inserted into the interior defensive line and threw guys out the club multiple times. Kyle Pitts ain't built for that, and this guy may be. So we'll take a flyer on Luke Lachey out of Iowa, where you get all the good-looking white tight ends, and make that happen. So we'll draft Luke with our final pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. There it is. That's our mock draft. Maybe you can do better. Let's see how this thing turns out as we keep track of what happens and where the Falcons go. I think we hit all of our needs. They'll give us a grade right now? Yeah. Holy Moses. Let's do it. Overall? Yeah. B. All right. We got a B- for Pierce. A bit of a stretch and a reach. Got him a little sooner than we needed to. Ideally, I would love to get back out of that 15 pick, get to like 23 or 24, and take him there. Kevin Winston Jr., we get an A- for him. He's going to be a good 3-down player for us. Kobe Bryant, thanks to my assistant GM, JB. We got a C+ there. He's got to put some weight on, eat some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and make it happen. How about the A pick in the 7th round, Jake Majors? He's played a lot of football at Texas, a lot of good coaching, a lot of good players around him. Get an A there. And then we took a flyer on the tight end, thinking about the future with Luke Lachey. Overall draft grade, B. I'll take it. And let's see what it looks like. That's your locker room, Brian Finneran, former Falcon, NFL mock draft 2025.